speaking of some underpaid people, well, actually overpaid people, Dak not getting paid. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
All I'm gonna say is, if Ryan Tannehill is getting paid, any quarterback, and I mean any quarterback, has a good chance of getting paid. Literally, it's still beyond me how Ryan Tannehill got paid before Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
and how nobody like Ryan Tannehill had good plays, but they wouldn't have done anything without Derrick Henry. I mean, it's the way the if I was on one of the Titans owners, I would have done the same thing. There's no point in paying a guy when you don't have to. It's not about deserving. It's about how can you build a good team without having to like pay more money than you need to. But I think Dak Prescott should have taken the money when he had the chance. He completely hurt his reputation after not taking the money, because you'd think he'd play better to show that he deserves more money, but he actually did the opposite. He basically like wet the bed, and now I don't even think he's worth that much. I think he should just take the money and stop talking.
I mean, it's kind of like a slap in the face. They paid Zeke. They paid Amari Cooper. It's his turn to get paid, and they're not paying him. And he's the quarterback.
That's the thing, though. He was offered money. He was offered good money, but he didn't.
Does anyone know how much he got paid? Like, does anyone know how much he got offered? Like, where his contract ranked amongst?
It was around like $40 million or something around there.
Like, who is it around though? Like, who is he in like the range of? Does anyone know?
I do not remember.
It was under Carson Wentz. And his whole thing is that he wants to get paid at least as much or more than Carson Wentz, because that's the same QB in his division.
And if that's the case, I agree with that, because Carson Wentz, like, when you really think about it, he hasn't seen like too much more success than Dak Prescott. Like, obviously, the one year he like hurt himself when he was carrying his team to the Super Bowl or whatever, and they went on to win it without him. I don't know, like, take that however you will, but they won it without him. And he was on his way to a really good season. He was on his way to an MVP season, and he got hurt. But Dak Prescott for the Cowboys has been like consistent. Like, I'm not gonna say he's been like, oh my God, like the second coming. Like, you know, he's been good, but he hasn't been like crazy good. Now, does he deserve more money than Carson Wentz? I think he deserves at least as much, because he's been more consistent over the times than Carson Wentz. So I think he deserves his money. I don't know if he'll get it. And if he's like, I feel like if there's any time the Cowboys shouldn't pay a quarterback, it's now, just given the people who are in this draft and the people that they could potentially trade up for. So it's not or they don't even have to trade up. They could wait, and maybe someone like Jordan Love comes down to them, which, I mean, like, that depends on how much you believe in Jordan Love. But a lot of people, or there's a number of people who think he's going to be really, really good. Or, you know, you might even consider trading up to go get someone who's a better quarterback. So
So you're saying that the Cowboys should draft a QB this draft?
No, I'm saying they should pay him, but if they're going to go the route of not paying a quarterback, this would be the time to do it.
I agree with that, but at the same time, the man turned down $33 million because he wanted $40 million. Like, come on now.
He's looking at Jared
when
Goff getting paid, Carson Wentz getting paid, all these other QBs, and he's like, I want to get paid too.
But we're not going to act like Dak Prescott has done – we've seen glimpses of Carson Wentz. And while Jared Goff's garbage now, they should have never paid him that early. But he's had one bad year. I'm going to give him that. But Jared Goff might
done anything in the postseason.
True, but so Dak Prescott hasn't done anything in the postseason either.
Yeah, that's my point. If he hasn't done anything, he got paid. Why should Dak get paid
when he had the chance? Should have taken the money when he had the chance.
But I mean, you're only signing yourself on to like more years of being underpaid though. Because, like, think about it. If he took an offer that was like $33 million, and then like he signed on for like 4 years, that's 4 more years of like, okay, now I have to prove it to these guys again why I'm worth this amount of money.
You're right. But to be underpaid, you actually have to play good. And sorry to break it to you, he hasn't really been showing us that he's underpaid.
Yeah, he hasn't done much.
If he had taken $33 million and had that type of end of the season, what would we be saying right now? Some might even argue that he's overpaid. I mean, come on. I think the Cowboys lucked out with not giving him $40 million.
That can be argued.
Do you think they should have given him $40 million?
I think
I'm not gonna say 40 million, but I think they should have. It's difficult. I don't know. I feel like they should have paid him. They need, because he's for sure. They know everything that's going on. There's more time for him to get ingratiated or integrated with McCarthy's system rather than drafting a quarterback and having him start from new. Because there's a chance at the end of the day that none of these guys pan out and none of them are good. And if you don't pay him, who are you going to replace him with? Because I don't know. Like, are the Cowboys really in the market to sign a quarterback? And if they wait for too long, if they play this game with Dak for too long, it might end up being too late.
We'll see how he does next year and how the team does, and
we'll be able to tell better.
He had critical games where I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys can really only go up from what it was last season. The whole division can go.
No, they can't. They can stay the exact same. They'll never let you down.
Weren't they 8-8?
I think they were 8-8. Exactly. They can stay right there. They've been doing that.
The Cowboys, aren't they known as being the 8-8 team?
Yes.
Yeah, ask Tony Romo.
They can stay right there. No, and that's another good point. They paid Tony Romo when all this was going on, and Tony Romo, he's a great announcer, but quarterback, regular season quarterback, he was good. Postseason, I don't know about that.
Maybe they learned from their mistakes.
That could be true.
I still think Dak has to prove next year, or at least I'm not going to blame it all on Dak. There had been games where that defense really was, garbage, and the coach. Don't even get me started with the coach. Amari Cooper, I remember he had 0 receptions one game, mostly because they threw it to him how many times that game? 2 times. And then you turn around and you pay him that much money. Amari Cooper's overpaid, but he definitely deserves money. He's a good receiver and deserves money. But the coach just didn't know how to get him the ball, plain and simple.
I guess that's why they got Mike McCarthy. All right. Let's go on to Bill O'Brien as a GM. What do you guys think about what he's been doing recently as
Garbage.
a GM?
Garbage.
So DeAndre Hopkins came out today and basically said that they really had no relationship outside of football. They didn't talk at all if it wasn't for plays or anything. And so that just goes to prove that trade, it wasn't for the Texans at all. It was for Bill O'Brien. It was because he wanted to get DeAndre Hopkins out of there, and that's what he did. It wasn't anything business at all. It wasn't a smart trade. It wasn't good for anyone except the Cardinals. Now, Kyler Murray has a receiver, you can argue the best receiver in football right now. Some might say Michael Thomas, some might say Julio Jones, but top 3 for sure.
And some like you might say Odell Beckham.
I think top 3
with no evidence.
Top 3 switches around a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Thomas, Julio, and Hopkins.
Yeah, I think it was just really. I don't know what he was doing with that trade. I don't know. It came out.
No, continue.
No, go.
Okay, so no, basically, I think Bill O'Brien is a complete idiot. Bill O'Brien, the general manager. The head coach, he's not that bad. They've been to the playoffs. They've seen success. They were up against the Chiefs, who won the Super Bowl. And overall, they're playing pretty well. Deshaun Watson, but obviously they're both Clemson boys. So, they have a pretty good connection. They're both in the same place. They both have a strong connection. So to trade them, it was also kind of a shot at their friendship, kind of saying whatever, you guys have your friendship, and I don't really like this guy, so I'm gonna trade him. So it's kind of like a shot in that way, but it's also you literally just traded what I believe to be the number 1 receiver in the game, and basically you traded him for a bag of chips and some pebbles or something, because he's definitely not worth a 2nd round pick. He's easily worth he's worth a top 10 pick if you ask me. You minimum you had to be talking a top 10 pick to talk to me about DeAndre Hopkins. He's that generational. He's that great of a talent, sticky hands, all that. So to trade someone like that for a 2nd round pick, and then you get Brandon Cooks back, so who's a really good player at his best, but he's injury. He has a lot of injuries throughout his career, a lot of concussions. So when you think about that, it might not have really been worth it. You traded him for an injury-prone receiver, and you didn't really get the return that you wanted. So overall, it was idiotic trade, and they should relieve him of his GM duties for sure.
Honestly, I don't know why he's stayed at Houston for that long. I mean, they've been stagnant the whole entire time that he's been there. You can argue they put a better coach in there. They do better. And I think it's kind of disrespectful to Deshaun Watson, too. You take away his best weapon and trade him for a bag of chips. I mean, come on. Like, if I was Deshaun Watson, I would be like, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to help me win games and go into the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, not make my job harder. And that's what Bill O'Brien's doing.
I think Bill O'Brien got emotional and just let his emotions cloud his judgment. He just wanted Hopkins out of there and just got him out of there.
Obviously.
And I think Hopkins really, at the end of the day, the only person this really hurt was the Texans, mostly Deshaun Watson. And I honestly think Hopkins has no problem with this. He's out. He's gone.
Yeah. No, I don't think Hopkins really cares.
He's joined a really good receiving core.
I think he cares. I think he cares a little bit, though, because he's going from a team that was contending to a team that, like, could be contenders in the future. But, like, overall right now, because, like, the Seahawks have been, like, good for a long time, so they're not going anywhere as long as Russell Wilson's still playing, I feel like, anyway. And the Niners have been really good. The Rams are on the down, but, like, are there really 3 teams going to be from the NFC West that make the playoffs? We really don't know.
I mean, with the new CBA rules, that could happen.
Yeah, that's true. So, you never really know. Because at the end of the day, I think for DeAndre Hopkins, I think coming out of his division was obviously going to be easier than having to come out of a tough division like the NFC West, which is, the best division in the best division in the NFL. So
yeah, I totally concur with that statement.
They'll do good.